Cheers, boys.
Cheers. Ever since you listened to an episode,
John knows what's up now.
I'm following now.
Well, welcome back to another episode of the Movie Podium, a weekly podcast where we collectively choose a movie to watch, and at the end of the week, we get together and talk about it. It's kind of like a book club, but for movies.
Woo! But for movies.
We also came
a little
up
late on that one.
We also came up with a set of questions to ask ourselves as we watch this film, such as, is this a podium movie or a top 3 of the year of its respective release? I'm your host, Matt Scott, and I'm here with my dudes. Daniel.
Heyo.
Eric.
Heyo.
No Kevin, no Dave, but hello, John.
Hello, John.
Hello, John.
Hello, John.
You mixed me up.
Hello, John.
Hello, John. Wide stretch.
That's such a bad sound clip.
Hello, John.
Hello, John.
Hello, John.
Hello, John.
Hello, John.
It's not a great one. I tried.
That was good enough.
And
Good enough.
Yep. And without further ado, we present our next movie.
A Christmas Story.
Hit it, Daniel.
A Christmas Story. He wants a gun. He gets a gun. He does what everyone says he's gonna do with the gun.
Woo.
Yeah.
All right. Can't wait.
I am so excited.
So this is our last week of our Christmas month. Time is flying by. We're approaching 30 episodes, and we just hit over 500 subscribers. Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Woo, woo.
Thank you all.
And
we appreciate
Yes,
it.
thank you so much.
yeah, and if you haven't subscribed, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Check out our website, moviepodium.net. Check out our Patreon site where you'll have access to our Discord. A lot of times on Fridays we'll jump on and play lots of mediocre Rocket League where we win a couple, we lose a couple, and we get pissed off.
That was generous.
We lose a couple to start, and then we win one, and then we lose all the other ones.
And then it's all downhill after that string of wins. And so now we're ending our Christmas month with maybe the most Christmas movie of all time, appropriately named A Christmas Story.
Yeah, and this was our last vote because again, the audience voted for this one, and this was our classics.
Yep, this was
category.
our classic. Yep, and this was very close. This actually only won by 2 votes between Instagram and YouTube against one of our other favorites, It's a Wonderful Life. So thanks for everybody who voted, and we had a fun time with this. This was more fun than I kind of expected, to be honest. So I'm glad we did that. And going forward, I think we're going to do a lot more monthly themes. I think it's fun for us to kind of get immersed into a certain genre or director or however we want to take it. But it's been fun doing this.
Are you trying
sure.
to introduce, what did you call it, Eric?
January.
Oh,
Bane.
so with that being said, we have decided to do
January.
where we are going to be reviewing 4, because I mean, there's probably only 4 movies you could review of Michael Bay's that will be worth anything.
We're putting ourselves through the ringers here.
We really are. So we have 4 Michael Bay films, including Armageddon, Transformers, Bad Boys 1, and The Rock. Not The Rock's new movie.
Also,
The
for
Rock
Armageddon,
film,
we're going to have a
not
special
pro wrestling.
guest. Stay tuned
Oh,
for
yeah,
that.
stay tuned. Ooh. Yep.
But that's next month in January.
Right.
But
So,
now we're doing a Christmas
let's,
story.
Let's finish our Christmas story month, or our Christmas month, with a Christmas story. Did any of you guys, and I know John's answer for this, but did any of you guys have a BB gun or ask for a BB gun when you were growing up?
I had a BB gun.
Did you?
Yeah.
Daniel?
Nah, I was a city boy, man. I was a city boy through and through. Like, Nerf guns was as country as we got.
I didn't even own a Nerf gun. Like, my mom just got the boys' Nerf guns. I think this is the first time anybody in my lineage owns any kind of gun. Well, laser tag. Laser tag was the only type of gun I've ever owned in my life. To this day. So, John,
the boys,
definitely,
Scott boys are armed now.
but John, I definitely know had a BB gun because it was the only BB gun I shot.
Yeah. So,
Wait.
yeah, I had one.
All right, well, let's just jump into the random ass facts. You guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Aye.
All right, this is kind of shocking to me, but it actually had a 7.9 on IMDb.
Is that higher than Thor?
It's way higher than Thor. It's the highest Christmas movie we've reviewed. It doesn't feel like it's more critically acclaimed than the last two movies that we've done, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that much better than Elf or
No.
Home Alone. Like, it doesn't like they're on the same level. I'd put those
agreed.
They're like the same level of quality, like they're quality movies, but I wouldn't put a Christmas Story that much further ahead or for any reason.
No, I would agree with that. One of the inspirations that came out of this was the Wonder Years. And so that narration and that style and that reminiscing of family actually inspired the creators of the Wonder Years. Thought that was kind of awesome.
Yeah, that
makes
is neat.
sense.
There were a total of 3 leg lamps made for this movie, and all were broken while on set.
Purposefully?
Rest in peace.
I wasn't sure, like, it didn't really give a background story, but I would assume purposely, just for the movie's sake, but, like, maybe a couple takes, but...
Yeah.
So they had multiple of those. Did anybody catch the state it's supposed to be filmed in? Because we'll get at where it was filmed, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Was it Indiana?
Yep. It was Indiana. Yeah, so the story goes that they tried finding an American city resembling an Indiana town of the 1940s. They toured over 20. Yeah, they toured over 20 cities before selecting Cleveland, Ohio.
As a town.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, well,
that was one of my random ass facts too.
Yeah, so the decision to film in Cleveland was highly influenced by the willingness of Higbee's, which, as you might have seen in the movie, The Department Store, actually existed. And most of the filming was actually in their store. And so kind of the biggest influence was like, hey, you can do all this work at our store. And so they just kind of jumped on it from a budget standpoint.
The whole, like, him seeing Santa scene, that was at the Higbee's.
That's all actually a real
beginning.
Higbee's. Yeah.
And
funny?
I will note at the opening scene where you're introduced to Higbee's, you see 2 Santas in the same frame at once, which could shatter a lot of young paradigms out there.
That would really confuse me as an 8-year-old.
What?
Most of the snow during the bully scenes, where they're throwing, snow and that whole scene, actually was fake. The snow that was used was mainly soap flakes and firefighters' foam. They said they were slipping and sliding everywhere.
Yeah.
Which you can imagine, right? And
I don't know. It's 1983 and I'm negative 4 or 5 years old.
Fair. And maybe the biggest what if there was one big casting what if in this movie, and apparently the role of Ralphie's dad was originally offered to none other than Jack Nicholson.
Really?
Okay.
That would have been a different movie.
Yeah. And this was
Shining?
83.
No.
So, like, he was, like, way up. This was after Easy Rider, One Who Flew Over Cuckoo's Nest. I think Ordinary People just came out, which won Best Picture. So, like, he is
this before
demanding,
or after Shining? Because that's
this
all
was
I can
after.
think of.
This was right
God.
after. I think The Shining
can't
might have been
have that.
1980. Yeah, well, so the reason they didn't go with him is because the producers knew that he was going to be too expensive. Like, he was notoriously a high-priced talent, and this is in the start of the peak of his career, so, yeah, not affording him.
Yeah.
So they went with Darren McGavin, who we'll might note later, but he's not really in a ton, but you might recognize him from a certain movie of our childhood. All right. Ready to get into the questions?
I had a couple random ass facts.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear them.
The end scene when they go to the Chinese restaurant, the actress who played the mom was not told that they were going to bring out a duck. And it was still going to have its head on. So her reaction was genuine. And then they definitely didn't tell her that they were going to cut the head off. So she had a genuine reaction to that whole thing.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was
I didn't
funny
know that.
because she's like momentarily shocked, and then
Yeah.
you see her go back to being like cheery. And
Yeah.
I took that to be like, oh, she's trying to like act like it's normal for her kids.
Yeah. And then the last thing I'll say is I noticed that Ralphie is left-handed.
Oh. Did not notice
Southpaw
You did notice
representation.
Yup.
Southpaw
Wow.
represent.
Me too. Most times. Most times I think I am left-handed, and then I like don't realize that I'm doing it left-handed, and then somebody says like, "Oh, you're left-handed." I'm like, not really. I don't know. I guess I'm doing it left-handed. Didn't realize
You're
like I wear my watch on my
wrong-handed.
like I wear my watch on my left hand or my right hand. I mean, and like I when I'm on a mouse pad, I use my left hand.
Wait, you use your mouse in your left hand?
No, when I have the pad, I scroll and do everything. But I use the mouse with my right.
Okay.
Isn't that weird? Like, just whatever works.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get into the questions. Unless anybody else has any other random ass facts, yeah.
Was there shit in the chat?
Here's Ralphie.
Here's Yanni.
That would be funny. Yeah. All right. First question we've got. Favorite thing about the movie?
Tough one.
All right, John. What's first?
The first one I had is the bullies comeuppance. Where
That's
Ralphie
your favorite
beats
thing?
the shit out of Scut Farkus.
Oh.
He's
Yeah,
such
that's
a
pretty
bad
satisfying.
dude, and it's on the side so satisfying for him, and then his mom covers for him at the end. It's
Yeah.
special.
That's pretty awesome. And since you're talking about bullies, I have a top 5 bullies in film
Oh my gosh.
of all time.
Daily double.
I didn't want to start this early, but it's perfect timing.
Uh-oh. Party time. Excellent.
So number 5, I have O'Bannon from Dazed and Confused, which is played by Ben Affleck. He's just
That's
a
a
super
strong
senior
five.
and chases high school kids around and tries to beat the shit out of them. Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that from a bully standpoint.
Classic bully
Super
move.
senior.
Yeah, for sure. Number 4, I have Johnny Lawrence in Karate Kid. Now, he isn't as bad as his sensei, but he clearly, gives the Karate Kid a hard time, and
Yeah.
You feel bad for him.
He's the seed of a bad dude.
Yeah, exactly. Number 3, Scut Farkus, our boy from A Christmas Story.
What, are you gonna cry now? Come on, cry, baby, cry for me.
The yellow eyes. We all had
Ooh,
that.
this
And
man.
as John alluded to, we all had a kid that was, what us commuters walking home kind of stood around and tried to beat us up or tried to threaten us, and some Jones boys out there and some of the other skanky kids that we had to deal with. So Scut Farkus was kind of one of the ones that we, had to deal with. Number 2 is none other than Regina George from Mean Girls.
Nice. Yeah.
She is, everyone worships her as a plastic high school girl. And, we sadly, this is one of the bully paths that we see in high school. And she was awesome in it. I mean, she, embellishes that role.
Yeah.
Does a great job as a bully. And number 1 is none other than our boy Biff.
Yeah.
Biff Tannen.
So why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
It had to be, right? I mean,
He tries to commit a sexual assault.
yeah, well, that's fair.
I also love the doofy, bad dude that you can laugh at and make fun of, and he's definitely that.
Make like a tree
funny
and
as
get out of here.
Yeah, that was my favorite quote. But he's just the best version of a bully for a movie that you can think of, and he's just as big as any of the other main characters. I mean, he resonates just like everybody else. So Biff is definitely the ultimate bully. But Scut Farkus,
love to see him get
you were up
covered in
there.
shit.
Exactly.
And Scut Farkus covered in his own blood. So sweet.
Cry, baby, cry. So I'll just finish this off with giving my favorite part about the movie, and that it's my favorite part about this movie is that it's just the most Christmas movie ever. Like the amount of iconic scenes with the music, from the beginning of the movie to the end. The fact that when we woke up, it was on TV. We'd go to my grandparents in Beverly. It was on TV. We get home and I would be going to bed, and it was still on TNT because they'd run that shit 24 hours. I mean, you couldn't get away from it, right? And I just thought they just do the ultimate job of being an angsty kid around Christmas trying to navigate wanting a present and dealing with your crazy family and all of the quirkiness that was involved. So I just think it's the most Christmas movie. Not necessarily the best, but the most Christmas movie. I mean, it's called A Christmas Story. So well done on their part. Daniel, what was your favorite thing about the movie?
For me, it's just that sense of nostalgia that I have for it because it's been on, in my Christmas repertoire for so long. And it harkens back to that younger age where, you're really excited about Christmas. You want, because you want this cool present or whatever. And all you can think about is Christmas is 6 days away, 5 days away, 4 days away, 3 days away. And not in that way, as an adult, sometimes you kind of dread Christmas because you're like, I haven't done this and I haven't done this and I haven't done this. And it's only 3 days away and it's only 2 days away. And I've got this and this and this and this and this to do. Yeah. It harkens back to that simpler, time as a kid where you're just yeah, Christmas. All I have to do is show up.
I've been nice all year.
Yeah.
This is my payday.
Yeah.
Right. Eric, what about you?
I really like the imaginings of Ralphie with the gun and how he's protecting his family, and they're like, "Oh, thank you so much."
Yeah. Yeah, those are some hilarious scenes.
Yeah.
All right, next category we've got least favorite part about the movie. I'll swing it back to you, Eric.
My least favorite thing about the movie was how much the dad hates the neighbor's dogs. Because those dogs are adorable.
They just want
Yeah,
some
that is on
turkey.
brand.
They've been smelling it all day.
Yeah. We'll get to that
it's
later.
Not their fault. Yeah, it's not their fault. Daniel, what was your least favorite thing?
My least favorite thing is that Ralphie's a fucking rat.
And I blurted out the first name that came to mind.
Schwartz! Oh.
Ralphie's a fucking rat.
This is on brand for not liking kids, so yeah.
Listen. He says the F word, all right? He has him out. He can say his father, because his father says it all the time. But what's he do?
Yeah.
He sells out his buddy.
Yeah,
so his buddy gets a call from his mom and talks to her mom, or his friend's mom, and then you hear him get abused in the background.
Why are you hitting me?
It is pretty brutal to listen to.
Yeah.
That whole
It was
scene.
a different
And it's all because Ralphie's just a rat and just ratted out his boy. Like,
That's fair. Yeah, he kind of did. I had a similar situation when I was a kid, and it was I said some bad word or something in like third grade, and I got sent to the principal's office, and they asked where I heard it, and I think my mom might ask, and it's fine, she'll listen to this and she'll remember, but she asked me like where I heard that, and I blamed my Uncle Jeff playing Beavis and Butthead for me. Which, I don't know if that's true where I heard that from, but like I definitely tried to get an out, and I was probably 8 years old at the time. So you know who it's easy to blame? Drunkle Jeff. Beavis and Butthead, because that
Drunkle
was
Kevin.
Yeah, exactly. John, what was your least favorite thing?
I had to really. I mean, I love so much about this movie.
You've watched it 3 times today.
Sacrilegious to dislike anything about it. I think what I have underlined and circled is their furnace. That's what I dislike.
Oh yeah.
Any particular reason?
It's always on the fritz. He's always making the old man cuss and make the youngins hear, unsavory things.
What do they say?
And in the end, it's going to cost them a lot of money. And I'm glad that he got his BB gun before they had to replace that.
Yeah, what does he say? Like our dad's been the anti-furnace guy forever or something. There's
One of
funny...
the feared furnace fighters.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. I was hoping you'd think of that. But
is one of my favorite things about this movie that I forgot to mention is that it's like through the eyes of a child, but it's clearly like an old man's voice because this like flowery language is not a kid, but he's recalling perfectly the visions of his childhood.
Yeah. Right. Yep. So I had 2 nitpicks. Again, I also love this movie, but first is the magnitude of the kid dropping the F-bomb. And I don't think it doesn't really resonate with me. Now, when I was a kid, as we all know, I didn't really cuss, but I just thought I kind of did it out of principle, was told not to cuss, and so I just didn't. It wasn't like it was a bad thing. I mean, we still listen to the worst kind of music, Korn or, any rap, ICP.
Eminem.
Yeah, I mean, and like, if one of our kids says that, like, I'm not going to flip out or humiliate them or call their parents. Like, way blown out of proportion.
Kid's ass beat.
Yeah, I would never do that to the kid. So, like, that's part of my problem. And then the other part of that is the fact that the dad, I mean, clearly, where did the kid hear it, right? I mean, like Daniel alluded to, it was the dad, not the kid.
Yeah,
so
he's like he plays dumb pretty much.
Right. Have a little humility and understand that, like, you're kind of influencing your kid. So don't flip out on your kid for saying a bad word. My other nitpick is that I think there's a little bit of novelty of this movie that kind of makes it not feel like a real movie. So like everything is so iconic or so like it feels like one skit after another. Like, oh, here's this scene. Here's this scene. It almost feels like it's not a real movie anymore because of how many times we've seen it and talked about it. And it's just like, it's just weird how like I don't watch it as a movie. I watch it as just a stroll down nostalgic
glimpses.
lane or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's weird.
Yeah, and I think it's segmented like that, kind of like it's like here's a scene. It doesn't have like a narrative structure that
No,
like,
it doesn't
flows.
at all.
It's just
Right.
like here's a scene, here's a scene, here's a scene, and not that that's a bad thing, but it's just different than what you're normally used to watching.
I guess it's not necessarily a least favorite. Well, least favorite is in like it doesn't feel like a movie. But I don't dislike the movie or anything. But it's weird how that, and I just feel like it's based on how much it's been launched into our culture, and how much we see it and watch it and talk about it. It's just like
it's very pop culture.
Well,
it's weird how that's. Yeah,
it's also it's also one of
else.
those things where it's how many times do you sit down and watch this movie front to back? Normally it's on the TV in the background. You know, you turn and go like, oh, here's the tongue scene.
It's on TNT 24 hours.
Yeah, exactly. So you catch a segment, you know, like you said, you wake up in the morning, you catch a segment while you're eating breakfast. Then you're off to grandma's house and you catch another segment. Then you're off to, you know, your other grandma's house or, you know, whatever. So you
going to the grocery store.
It's almost
you catch just snippets of it.
Yeah, it's that for sure. It feels like one skit after another.
Yeah.
All right, next category. Who won the movie? Eric, who won the movie?
The neighbor's dogs won the movie because they ate the shit out of that turkey.
They gobbled it.
They gobbled it all up. And they deserve every last bite of it.
I mean, I think the family won because the dogs ate it, because then they got to eat Chinese food. So
yeah. I can
John,
see that too.
Who won the movie for you?
Obviously, Ralphie, because he gets the Red Ryder.
Yeah.
Then he almost shoots his eye out.
I know.
Immediately fulfills the mom's worst fear. Boink.
I love his reaction.
Damn it, I told you.
Yeah, I love his reaction too. Like he like knows it, and it almost like it was like the whole time he should have listened, and then finally it happens. You're like, damn, I should have listened to my parents.
Yeah.
Also,
but he's a
like,
little shyster and quickly comes up with a lie to cover it up.
Exactly.
Well, that's fair.
I
That's
knew
true.
you were going to see that angle.
And like the parents didn't tell him like, oh, don't shoot directly at something like something that's gonna recoil the BB there, buddy.
Right. Yeah. Smart man. Daniel, what about you?
It's Ralphie. Like he gets this wonderful Christmas. He gets the toy that he wants. He and his family like actually spend some quality time together. Like it's just like it's an idyllic childhood Christmas. You know, he gets a great Christmas.
He gets
Randy falls asleep in wrapping paper.
He gets the bunny suit and the BB gun. What else could you want?
I was just gonna say he gets the pink bunny outfit.
I said that Christmas movies won this movie, or Christmas movies is the winner here, because I think before this movie, there was a very large gap between like the movies of the yesteryears, like the It's a Wonderful Life, The Miracle on 34th Street. There's a very big gap between those movies and this movie. And so there was a whole generation that was missing a movie to cling on. And then like the 80s came and you had this.
Oh, that's
You had
Vulcan,
Christmas
sorry.
Vacation, and you had Home Alone. So you kind of had all of these others. Yes, Daniel?
Yeah, because it kind of moved towards TV. Everything moves towards TV. Like you had the TV Christmas specials.
Yep.
Instead of the actual Christmas movies, you had How the Grinch Stole Christmas and all the Rudolphs and all that stuff. So it's interesting.
Absolutely.
It's interesting that they went from like silver screen to TV, then back to the silver screen.
Yeah, so I thought that this movie and a few of the other ones that I mentioned, kind of took that back into the play, and now we kind of think like Christmas movies as just part of our tradition of Christmas. We watch Christmas movies around the holidays. You put up the tree, you sing the songs, you watch the movies. So I think Christmas movies win because it kind of put it back in the stratosphere.
Yeah, it brought it back to the theaters, and then now to your homes. And everything. And absolutely, Matt. That's a great call.
Danke. All right. Now my favorite category. Favorite song moment or score scene? I'll own up to it. And I'll go first.
Well, it is Boxing Day now.
It is. I couldn't not pick this, but I had to go with Deck the Halls at the Chinese restaurant.
Deck the halls with our glory.
Not necessarily appropriate for our
that one's real difficult to watch.
But it is one of the scenes that I think of when I think of that movie. And one of the traditions that I like for Christmas is that we try and eat Chinese food on Christmas. And I like all of the non-traditional things to do during the holidays. Like I don't really care for turkey on Thanksgiving, things like that. I'm the anti-tradition or the, traditional stuff. And so that whole scene is awesome, but I get that it's a little aged not well, but the idea behind the movie and the song and what it represents and their story during Christmas is what I like about it.
What I like about that scene is at the end, after several tries singing, the head chef or whatever is just like, kitchen, get food.
All right, I'm done.
Food.
Yeah.
All right, back to your real job.
And another thing I like about that scene, is that they're trying to make this a special holiday. Like that's such a nice touch that these two different cultures are coming together 100%. And the one culture is trying to honor the other person's culture by trying to sing them Christmas carols, and obviously they can't do it very well, but the thought
and it's a comedy
and the thought behind it is very sweet.
Oh, and the family's 100%. All gracious too. They're like, yes, thank you, but that's enough. We want to eat now.
I agreed. It's very lighthearted in that sense.
Yeah,
for sure. Daniel, what was your favorite song moment?
You're not going to believe this, but that was my favorite song moment.
Really?
Yeah.
That's hard to believe.
I in my head when you said it because I was like,
oh, he's going to say
I was going to get this one.
Oh, no. It's good, though. It's the most...
that was like my off the wall suggestion, and then also it was just like I said, that scene is so beautiful and wholesome, even though it's funny as well. Like you can have it both ways, and that's what's great about that's something that they do really well in this movie is that they play for laughs, but it's also still heartfelt and sentimental. So that combination just nails it in the finish. So
I
was my
agree.
favorite.
Nice. Eric?
I honestly, I have no idea. I didn't put anything for this. Like, there's so much music in it.
Yeah, it's all
But-
Christmas songs.
Yeah, and I don't have a great answer for this.
Yeah, I that was the only thing that sticks out. I mean, you have music at the opening scene and at the ending scene. I mean,
Yeah.
throughout the entire movie, there's just Christmas songs, but none of them really
Yeah.
stand out other than that.
Yeah. So-
I've got a secondary answer I could say.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll flip it back over to Daniel.
Yeah, I love the
I have
music
an
that they
answer
play
too.
when the kids are running from Scut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is that Peter
like-
and the Wolf?
I think so. I don't know, but
Yeah,
like,
they use Peter and the Wolf with him and the bully, I think.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
that's right.
all fast motion and everything.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
John?
my secondary answer.
Nice. John, what about you?
Yeah, I thought that was Peter and the Wolf. I thought I was maybe hallucinating and having a Joan Cusack moment. No.
It sounded like her. No.
But I thought they did the Peter and the Wolf with him and the bully, which I thought was fun. If it's not that, I got those vibes. And then the opening scene was my first answer, which is you get a lot of Christmas carols basically in a medley together. And then there's, I guess it's just part of the movie soundtrack when they're looking in the window and it's like sparkling wonderment, I guess. I don't know. It part of the like chiming of the kids looking into the window and added sound effects, I guess, of them being in awe of all the toys and Christmas glory before them.
Yeah, I mean, it starts off saying this is going to be an extremely Christmas movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop rolling. But yeah, nice. I thought
In a small town of Made-Upville, Indiana.
Yeah.
Right.
Speaking of songs, producer Kelly is really trying to get us to watch the musical of this.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if she likes musicals at all.
She doesn't really, I don't think.
I'm not sure.
We did. I think it was on TV, and it was decent. I think Maya
Nice.
Rudolph was the mom in that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh, I think I
Pretty good.
maybe actually tuned in for a bit or piece of that because
Yeah,
I'm like,
she
what
was-
the fuck is this going
She's
to
not
look
the
like live?
best. Yeah, she's not the best singer, but like she's obviously funny. All right, next
Oh, of
category.
course.
We've got, does this movie get made now? What are your thoughts, guys?
I say probably. I don't know if it becomes iconic. Just because media is so fractured nowadays, it's hard to become iconic. But like, I think this is a Christmas movie that could be made. You know, because it's all a flashback anyway. You could make this now and flashback. You know, all the way to when this was supposed to be a flashback to, or you could flashback to the 90s or the 80s, or, you know,
Yeah.
you could make this movie, you know, pretty much any time. So it's just a matter of like, would it be the icon that it is today? I don't know. But yeah,
Right.
I think it gets made today.
Oh,
I agree.
100% agree. I mean, honestly, I think this movie, and again, we kind of mentioned how it kind of kicked back the phenomenon of Christmas movies, but I think this is like the blueprint for every Christmas movie made since, or almost like every generic one. Like the ones that stand out, like Elf or Home Alone, are the ones that are not like this. But for every Home Alone, there's 10 Christmas with the Cranks, or even more generic. You know what I mean? Like there's a ton. Like Jingle All the Way is pretty generic. Let's be honest. It's him trying to get a toy, just like
Now
trying to
that-
get a Red Ryder BB gun. So like
Now that Kevin isn't here, we can say it's generic.
it's a lot like A Christmas Story. I think made a blueprint that a lot of generic Christmas movies follow. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
Christmas is a
and
lot
maybe it's not
about mass
iconic,
production.
but it's there. Yeah, right. So I agree with that whole answer and basically why I said that. Yeah, absolutely. Same thought. All right. Now going to the iconic part of this movie, there are a lot of favorite lines from the movie. One at a time, boys. Who wants first dibs? All right, Daniel.
But I didn't say fudge. I said
Fudge.
Only I didn't say fudge.
And I love how they just don't say it. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Like, nice. Nice
The
stuff.
F
Dash.
word.
Eric?
I went with, oh no, it's all blue. Cheese it, boys.
Oh no! It's all blue! Cheese it, boys!
That's a good one.
Because that's just so ridiculous.
Very over the top.
Yeah.
John?
This is one that I think I just noticed. Maybe this helps when you watch it 3 times back to back to back, as the good Lord intended. But in the scene, the iconic, if you will, scene where he gets his tongue tucked to the pole, flick.
Yeah.
And so he gets us, after all the goading from the other friend Schwartz and his confidence to tell him that his tongue will stick if he puts it there, he does get him to put his tongue to the pole, and it sticks. You can see just before like all the ruckus kicks off, you can hear Schwartz go, "Gee, it worked."
Yeah.
It really worked!
He's surprised at
pretty
himself, even though he fucking conned his friend into doing it.
I once stuck my tongue to our freezer door in our old refrigerator. It had like a metal bar to hold stuff into the door. And I stuck my tongue to it, and it got stuck, and I had to yank it off. It wasn't as bad as the movie. Obviously, the movie's played up for,
of course,
laughs and entertainment. But like, I still like my tongue. Literally was like I was pulling it, and then it came off. But you could see if you looked close, there were like 2 taste buds that I left behind on the metal bar.
So, I think there's a few quotes here that kind of like go into that lexicon of our vocabulary. Like, one of them is, fragile. It must be Italian.
Fragile. It must be Italian.
Every time I see the word fragile, I don't say fragile.
No.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think my brain, my
Italian,
lexicon thinks fragile. You know?
Must be Italian.
It's a major award.
Yeah, but what is that? It's a major award.
Yeah.
It's a major award. I rarely had the words poured from my penny pencil with such feverish fluidity.
Oh, rarely had the words poured from my penny pencil with such feverish fluidity.
Yeah.
After he had to write the "What I Want for Christmas" bit.
Yeah.
He's in the zone.
What is he? He says something about his mom. My mom must have told the teacher or something like that. There's I can't remember the exact quote, but he's like blaming his mom for being in cahoots with the teacher.
Yeah,
and
then they go laughing at him.
Yeah. I mean, another one in the lexicon is, "You'll shoot your eye out, kid."
You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
Yep.
Or some variation of "You'll shoot your eye out."
Ho, ho.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's my favorite one, is when he says kid and then shoves him down. That's got to be the best one. Anybody else have any other ones?
I only had those two.
Yeah, I think we got most of them.
The other one I had is in the same scene with John, and it's the whole conversation about double dog and double or triple dog, and I just love how he says, "I triple dog dare ya."
I triple dog dare ya.
And that's another one that I think about a lot. Like those are the three that I think that just kind of have taken
If you'll
over.
indulge me, I have
please.
one more very long
go
one
for
to
it.
share.
I mean, there are some great narration bits on this. So go ahead.
if you want to go with the narrator's words, there's a lot of really good
so many good ones.
turns of phrases in there. But it's well known through the Midwest that the old man is a turkey junkie, a bona fide galley Turkicanus freak. And I have not looked up all those words in the dictionary yet.
Oh, there's another one that go ahead.
Right before the tragic stealing of the turkey by the Bunta Sounds.
Well, that reminded me of another one that I liked, and he was like, some dads are, what does he say? Like, some people are Baptists.
Some people are Baptists.
Some people are Catholics, and my dad was an Oldsmobile man or something.
Yeah, basically saying his choice of car is his religion.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of, like, your dad with the Buicks.
Yeah, and while cursing it, that damn thing would freeze up in the middle of summer on the equator.
And he would be mad at you for saying the same thing.
God damn it, who broke the furnace? John, come fix the VCR.
Well played. All right, next we've got not John's dad, most likely to be the off-screen drunk. That house is caffeine-free. Daniel?
I think it's Ralphie's dad.
Mine too.
Okay.
I think this category was made for Ralphie's dad.
Yeah. I mean, he does have wine Christmas morning.
Exactly. That was my answer as well. Eric, did you have somebody else?
Yeah, I had Ralphie's mom because she doesn't get to do anything for herself. She has to do everything for all of the other people, and I would assume that she needs some help.
Yeah. Never had a hot meal for herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as Ralphie knows.
Yeah.
Which was a long time.
Right. Well, also the brother hasn't had a hot meal in 3 years. Which I have a fun
He just
cast
needs some
for.
encouragement.
John, did you have an off-screen drunk?
No, I came up empty on that.
I think it's funny when with his parents.
Yeah, dad or mom, because pressure
good
of the
answer.
holidays, I guess.
Yeah, no, I like Eric's answer, and I think his dad was, the epitome of this category, so both of those make a lot of sense. Nice. Well done. All right, now we get to cast our friends. Any takers on first?
I'll go first.
All right, Eric and Daniel.
I said Cody is Old Man Parker because he's the one who would be pumped as can be to win something simple as a leg lamp. And he would try so hard to win it.
I definitely had his dad as well for Cody.
I was there too. That's for me.
Just all the principles and everything behind what that dad represents reminds me of old man Cody here in 20 years.
Could be worth $50,000.
And then I had So another pair that I had was Daniel as Schwartz and then Kevin as Flick, because they would be bickering back and forth, and Kevin would be so adamant about like, it's not going to work. And then Daniel would Daniel would do something to like get him to the point of like, you have to prove it now. And Kevin would try to like back off and be like, well, I mean, we don't need to.
Oh, good answer.
That just seemed like a pretty good dynamic.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then I had another pairing, and this one is Daniel is the mom, and John is little brother Randy, because I like, maybe not, but I've seen something very similar to that. The scene where his mom gets him to eat, and she's like, "What? How do pigs eat?" And then John's like, John just goes, shoves the food in his face. And then
you want me to eat? I'll eat.
And then also, John is one of the only people who would be so pumped to listen to a radio program. which also brings another recasting for Kevin, who is Ralphie, because he's the other person who would be just as pumped to listen to a radio show.
I think we can understudy for one another.
And that's all I have.
Sort of do on this program.
Nice. Daniel? Very
all right,
good.
So I had John as the kid who sticks his tongue to the pole, obviously. But
Obviously.
I had Mr. Tommy as the kid who convinces him to do it.
Sure.
Because
Good.
Mr. Tommy has a way of making us do stupid things without even realizing that he's talking us into doing stupid things. All of a sudden you're doing it and you're like, why the hell am I doing this? And Tommy's over here in the background laughing his ass off because you're doing something stupid that he convinced you to do.
That's a good answer.
Gold devil on your left shoulder.
Yeah.
Telling you to do it.
Good answer.
I had myself as the dad because when I want to be, I can be about as foul-mouthed as you can possibly imagine.
That's a very good point. Wow, good answer.
Yeah.
I mean,
in the basement.
Playing video games, I sometimes let out some of the most vulgar stuff ever.
You can string along some poetry for sure.
Yeah, it just
as far as we know, it's still
shoots out.
hanging over Lake Michigan or Erie.
And that's really all I had.
Nice.
Very good.
John, did you have anybody?
I have Ralphie as Eric. He's the all-seeing guy. He's putting it all together, editing all of our, snapshot memories of the past together into something comprehensible. Matt, I have you as the mom. I forget why. I think you're always looking out for your youngins. Coder's the old man. Kevin's Randy. Someone's got to be Randy. I could very well be Randy, laying there like a slug.
Kevin is Randy.
I had Daniel and Dave as Flick and Schwartz, and I couldn't identify the two. I just was like,
I'm
they'd
the
be the
dumb
ones.
one who does the stuff. Dave is the one who convinces me to do the stuff.
Yeah, they'd be the ones prodding each other.
Because Dave will do dumb stuff, but he does it on his own volition. I do dumb stuff.
Yeah,
I'll
agree with that.
Other people's like prodding. I'm like, yeah, that sounds dumb. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Double dog dare him.
Is that all?
Yeah.
All right, and so I'll wrap this up. I also had Cody, like we said, as the dad. That makes a lot of sense. John is Flick, as we kind of talked about, or me. I mean, we weren't afraid to do some of that shit if we were told to do it. And if you triple dog dare me, I'm probably not going to be afraid and do something that's pretty dumb because I don't like being challenged. So
I don't care if I'm wrong. It's a
I might be a little stubborn and do it anyway. So if you triple dog dare me, or John, because we were both doing stupid shit and you could tell us to do it.
I mean, John did climb a building.
No fear.
Once.
Yeah. Well, there we go. I said Kelly was the mom for obvious reasons. I mean, she does sacrifice a lot, and she would be the one drinking wine on Christmas morning, even though that was the dad. The off-screen drunk makes a lot of sense. She actually would be doing that, so that's a great answer.
I like that answer too, because Kelly also does that with all of us too. She takes,
she puts up
all of our bullshit.
Sure. Yep, for sure.
Which just.
We are who we are.
That's mother's work is never done.
And I had little brother Randy as Miles because it's impossible to get him to eat anything that he doesn't want to eat. And he probably hasn't eaten what we want him to eat in the last 3 years. Kelly.
As a baby... I'm a baby, gotta love me.
And making pig noises to get him to eat is what we've probably resorted to in the last year or two. Kelly even said, I knew you were going to go with Miles for that. Yeah, 100%. That's instantly what I thought of. And even like the older brother, younger brother stuff is weird now that I'm, a dad and have that dynamic. John, I'm not sure how you felt, but like some of that, I'm like, oh man.
Where, he's just Ralphie pushes his younger brother out of the way. He just bullies him. He's like, get the fuck out of the way. And then the younger brother does his best to beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Like, hey, fuck you. And it's like, hey, quit it. And just leaves. And it's like, pretty soon your younger brother's really going to be able to beat the shit out of you. And I'm afraid for how I'm going to control all that violence without being as stacked as you, Matt.
I mean, you've seen Miles ride Hook. You've seen Miles ride Hook. I don't know if I want to mess with that here in 10 years.
Dude, he loves trash talking me. I think he's going to beat me up.
And he just straight up hit, like when John wrestles with him, instead of wrestling, he just hits you. So watch out. And that's all I had for casting.
Very good.
That was good stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, we had some good answers there. A lot of relatable. It's very, what we're experiencing now. So fun stuff. All right. We got our podium stuff. And first is this a podium role for any of the top billed cast members? So this is one of the movies where the easy answer is yes, because none of these people really went on to do a ton after this, except for the mom. And I'll talk about her when we get to her. So you have Peter Billingsley as Ralphie. And if you look up his IMDb, or if you if you see him in movies, you don't recognize him, right? We've already talked about how he's in Elf as just the head elf.
Oh yeah, totally forgot about that.
Yeah, he's apparently, I didn't even know this, but he's in Iron Man at some point. And we've seen that. We've even rewatched that, and so he doesn't really have. I mean, he's in the remake, or they made this movie. HBO put it out a couple years ago, where it's like he goes back to his home because his dad had just passed away, and he's in that movie, but it's the same role, so we don't count those when we do this. So easy for him.
It's not canon.
No, right. And then you have Ian Petrella as Randy, who's in really nothing. Yeah, exactly. No idea. You have Darren McGavin as the dad, which I mentioned earlier. Does anybody remember or recognize him from another movie that we adore? I know.
I don't think so, but I feel like he did most of his work before this movie, maybe on TV.
Yes, he was a TV actor, TV star, maybe back in the day. The movie that he is in, that he's also a dad, is Adam Sandler. He's the dad of Adam Sandler in Billy Madison.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Weird, right?
Totally forgot about that. Oh, man.
Very distant dad.
Yeah, he plays a very specific role. And then we have Melinda Dillon as Mother Parker, who, as I kind of mentioned, is really the only one to have a career before or after this movie. And most of her stuff came after. But she actually has 2 Oscar nominations for supporting actress. And one of them was Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It's a great movie. Mm-hmm. She's also in Magnolia with Tom Cruise, which was a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. She is in Slapshots with Paul Newman, a pretty popular cult classic hockey movie. Mm-hmm. And who could forget her role as the mom in Harry and the Hendersons?
Yeah. You know what though?
That's a
strong showing.
It's a strong showing. But I'm still putting this on her podium.
Oh, me too.
Reason, and one reason only, and that is because it's a Christmas movie. And like we talked about last episode, if you're in a Christmas movie that endures, you've become immortal.
I agree. No, I totally agree. I think everybody in this is known for a movie, and it's this movie. Mm-hmm. Even though she has the accolades, I mean, 2 noms of Oscars is great.
Yeah.
But this is her apex mountain. Like, this is her top dog for sure. And last, we have our special bit, and Kevin has recorded it, so we'll play his. I don't know Dave's top ones. We have to have him record it, but instead of our podium roll for each year, we've been doing each week saying if the movie was in our podium for best Christmas movie of all time. And since this is our last Christmas movie, we're going to end with listing our top 3 or our podium Christmas movies of all time. So with that being said, does this movie podium on your all-time Christmas movie list?
So I'm not there with you guys tonight, but I give you my top 3 Christmas movies. I want to settle the debate once and for all that Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and it's my number 3. It's action-packed and fun. Takes place during Christmas, and can't go wrong with it. Number 2 is Scrooged. I wish we would have done this movie, but it's okay. It's not for everyone. But it's quite a modern take, but it's a more modern take of a classic that is just entertaining throughout, and it's done really well. And then my number 1, I think you guys already know, is Jingle All the Way. It's the only Christmas movie that I watch every year. And I'm making a point to watch it every year. It's got Arnold Schwarzenegger in it.
Daniel, what say you?
I say no. Okay. And you were very specific that these were Christmas movies, not Christmas specials. So I would like to give an honorary shout out to How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the 1966 version.
Yes,
because
one of
that
the best.
that is one of my I have to watch it or it's not Christmas.
Yep, yes. I'm on that, but I'm on that team for sure.
So now we go to Christmas movies. I start at number 3 with Scrooge. The Bill Murray comedy take on the classic Dickens Christmas Carol. Nice. It's funny. It's like modern enough. I mean, it's a little dated now, but it's still great. Number 2, I go with the classic that is Home Alone. I said it in that it's on my list. Home Alone is number 2. And then number 1 is the one that I really wanted to do for this week. that lost out by 2 votes, and that's It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life is just a classic Christmas movie, and it gives me all the feels every time I watch it. And I watch it in the original black and white, not the colorized version.
Yeah, get that shit out of here.
Yeah. I don't like colorized versions.
It's weird,
movies.
right?
They always look weird, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd much rather just go with it. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I agree. 100%. Yeah.
It feels unnatural.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely. Great list. All right, John, what's your 3? What does that podium look like?
My bronze is a variation of Daniel's bronze, which is the Muppet Christmas Carol with Michael Caine. Number 2 is It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay.
And number 1, the gold medal for me, this movie, A Christmas Story.
Nice. Oh, nice.
Nice.
You did watch it 3 times today, as God intended.
Is that for real? You actually did?
You gotta binge.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
No, that's a shoot, brother. He came in and he's
that's
like,
a real shoot.
Just finished up the 3rd episode, or the 3rd watching.
You think you like A Christmas Story?
Not that much. Damn, that is the gold standard right there.
Be sure to drink
Set that bar.
Ovaltine?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Eric, what's your podium look like?
So this is not on my podium. Number 3 would be Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nice. Different.
Number 2, number 2 would be Elf. And then number 1, Home Alone.
Nice.
Right on.
Very nice.
Yeah. And I just saw It's a Wonderful Life for the first time like maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I can see that one bumping one of those out on the podium, but not yet.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you kind of have you gotta let it marinate. I mean, it's one of those ones you gotta watch, and then over time, you kind of appreciate it more. So, understandable and very interesting. That means none of us have not one movie is on all of our podium lists, but a couple movies are on 3 of the 4 of ours. So this was not on my podium. Though it's top 5 for sure. It's an honorary mention along with along with Christmas Vacation. But my top 3 are the bronze, Bad Santa. It's just raunchy. It's funny. It's everything all of the other Christmas movies aren't. And I was sad we didn't get to do it because it's hilarious, but that's okay. I still need to watch it this year. Just filth, but sometimes filth is good. My silver is Home Alone. It holds up well, and as you get older, you kind of see it from a different perspective, and it still captures my attention. We just watched it, and it's still great. Just different.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
And my number 1 is the same as Daniel's and John's second, and It's a Wonderful Life. I know I've mentioned this before, but yeah, it's a tradition movie that we've always watched. I just remember coming home spending Christmas with my dad, getting home and my mom sitting on the couch watching It's a Wonderful Life. And now Kelly and I exchange gifts. I drink a decent amount of Jameson and we watch the movie in black and white.
Yeah.
And I just think it has everything you want in a Christmas movie. It's got the family in town coming together despite financial ruins or the threat of financial ruin. There's a love story involved. It's fucking real. It's got, all the sad stuff, all the happy stuff, all the stuff in between. And it just makes for, what tradition was. And really before this and Christmas Vacation along, this is what everybody watched. Until those other movies kind of made everybody go in different turns. Some people still go to this one, but before that, this was it. So that was my number 1.
Yeah.
Nice.
And It's funny. It's funny because I had a point, but I forgot it. Never mind.
One other thing to mention on It's a Wonderful Life. So Letterboxd is, where people get on there and talk about their movies, and they create lists of movies they've watched or they want to watch. This was actually the number one most obsessively watched Christmas movie on Christmas Day of any movie.
Wow.
So this, of the people who actually care about movies and get involved in Letterboxd, this is the most rewatched movie.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say. I didn't see this movie. Like, this wasn't a part of my childhood growing up.
Really?
This was a movie that I think the first time I watched it was like 5 or 6 years ago.
Huh.
And I immediately loved it. And then I've watched it every year since, and each time
That's
I
awesome.
watch it, I like it more.
I think that's the way it goes. So beware, Eric.
Yeah. I'm excited. We did watch the black and white version. So
You're hooked.
Nice. You're there.
At least I got that going for me.
Yeah. Well,
Which is nice.
this has been a lot of fun. I hope everybody has a happy holidays, and whatever you celebrate, you have a good time and get to be with family and enjoy yourselves. I know I will, and definitely on New Year's Eve. And whatever is going on then, hope you have a happy holidays. Thanks for tuning into our show. Please like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow us on your favorite social media platforms for clips, updates, and opportunities to vote on a movie we watch. Stay tuned for...
It's so fucking bad.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.